might have invested in Framework, but I only find out all the cool stuff that they're up to like a couple days before you guys. The good news is this time around, I am absolutely jazzed. Against an army of industry giants, and seemingly against all odds, they not only continue to survive, but in front of me is their biggest launch announcement yet. I'm talking 7th Gen Framework 13, their fastest 13-inch laptop yet, an all-new 12-inch convertible laptop with finally a touchscreen, finally! And, wait, a desktop? Did we really need Framework to develop modular, repairable desktops? Oh, wait, hold on a second. This is new. Modular, swappable front I/O. And look at this. You can even swap these tiles? Look at this. This one has a segue to our sponsor, UGREEN. Are you getting the storage warning on your phone again? Well, a UGREEN NAS could be the solution. With up to 64 terabytes of storage, it can store up to 22 million selfies. And to keep them secure, it comes with a built-in security manager to protect your data. So check out the UGREEN NASync DXP2800 at the link in the video description. Normally, for a multi-product video, we go from most exciting to less exciting and then save a pretty good one for the end. But I'm equally stoked for everything here, so game of chance? Hey! Nice! One of my biggest disappointments at CES was AMD's Strix Halo processor. Not the chip itself, of course. I mean, that could be the coolest thing that I've seen out of AMD in years, and maybe even the coolest PC CPU on the market right now. This thing has a massive integrated GPU that boasts performance that is similar to an RTX 4060 on integrated graphics. And it even allows you to allocate up to 96 gigabytes of its maximum 128 gigs of LPDDR5X to that GPU, making it awesome for gamers, creative professionals, and AI developers. No, the disappointing thing was that this sick processor barely made it into any products. All I saw at the show was one, admittedly awesome, laptop from HP, and one gaming tablet from ASUS. Talking to those brands, they said the issue was that Strix Halo requires a complete motherboard and device redesign, making its implementation in mobile devices really costly. So I guess Framework said, screw it. We're a small company and can't afford all that. But what if we just made it into a desktop? Is that really how it went down?
That is literally how it went down.
Oh, well, this 4.5-liter beast is unmistakably Framework. It's got modular front I/O and a customizable front panel, and the base model that I'm holding here will come with just black tiles and no handle. But if you want, you can get logos for games and generally nerdy things and stick them onto the front. And if they don't have the exact thing you're looking for, they are also releasing the 3D print files so you can make whatever you want. And Alex has some cool stuff for us to show off. I want to see what you got. Nice. What else we got? Who needs ventilation anyway?
Lego ones.
No way! We could put Lego on the front of our computer?
Yep.
Oh, no way!
This one I don't think will work.
That is phallic. Not as phallic as if I put it here. Oh no, I broke it. Shoot, my wife will be so disappointed.
And the coolest one.
No! This is our upcoming LTT Store upcycled CPU fidget spinner. Of course, most people aren't buying a desktop PC for the looks, so why don't we go around to the business end? At the back, we've got a total of 4 display outputs and 5 gigabit Ethernet, meaning that this could conceivably be used for 4K video editing off of a network storage device. And on the top of the lunchbox, you've got the option for a handle that also functions as the fastener to open the entire thing up. How the devil what is happening right now? That's pretty cool. First, the top panel slides back, then both of the side panels just slide up, and off they come. Now, you'll notice that on the back panel here, they had to sputter metal for electromagnetic radiation compliance reasons. But on the front, they were able to get away with a plastic panel and still pass EMI, surprising not just me, but apparently Framework themselves. Now that we've got it open, we can see that while they are using what is technically a mobile processor, they're using a standard-sized mini ITX motherboard, including a x4 PCIe slot, meaning that when you were done with this as your primary desktop system, you could pop this motherboard out and put it anywhere you want, including installing PCI expansion cards. Over the processor, they're using a heatsink that was made in collaboration with Cooler Master, and you have the option of a fan, either from Cooler Master or Noctua, which, by the way, guys, has barely been spinning this entire time here, thanks in part to the Honeywell phase change thermal interface material. Now, one thing I was slightly concerned about with this system was the CPU die. Because it's a mobile processor, it's designed to have the cooler directly on the exposed die itself without an integrated heat spreader. This can run the risk of potentially cracking the die in shipping and in the event that the user removes the cooler and reinstalls it inexpertly. But fortunately, AMD thought of this and includes a shim, so hopefully it should be pretty low risk. We've got a couple more fun little cooling innovations. Down here at the bottom is a little tiny fresh air intake for the power supply, so it doesn't have to share its air supply with the rest of the PC. And then at the top of the machine, there's a handy little cutout that makes accessing both the CPU fan header and the RGB header a bit easier, at least for those with bigger fingies. The other things that are super easy to access are, boom, your Wi-Fi module and your PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSD storage, along with a second M.2 slot that's around here at the front. Now, one thing that unfortunately cannot be upgraded after purchase is system memory, so make sure you get enough from the get-go. I hope that this is something that can be improved in the future, but it would require permission from AMD. The good news is the desktop can be outfitted with up to 128 gigs of LPDDR5X, and Framework expects that a lot of users are going to be buying that top config to run AI models. For power, we've got a semi-custom unit from FSP that's a little bit deceptive. While it says 400 watts on the label, they actually selected a power supply that was designed to do 600 watts, then they downrated it to make sure that it runs very quietly and efficiently. Man, this thing looks cool. I am psyched. These are USB 4, obviously, right?
Yeah, those two.
Sick. Before we move on to the next product, can you explain why this doesn't have replaceable LP cam modules already, and where you got that amazing embroidered hoodie?
I do love this. I wear it all the time. So we did actually ask AMD about this. The first time they told us about Strix Halo was actually literally our first question. How do we get modular memory? We are Framework after all. And they didn't say no, actually. They did assign one of their technical architects to really go deep on this. They ran simulations, they ran studies, and they just determined that it's not possible with Strix Halo to do LPCAM. The signal integrity doesn't work out because of how that memory's fanning out over the 256-bit bus.
Oh, well, that's bad news. But hey, your hoodie looks great.
Thank you.
Coming soon, lttstore.com. Look, it's a Framework circuit board. That is a bummer, but the good news is that Framework has committed to not nickel and dime people on the RAM upgrades.
Absolutely. It sounds like I'm saying absolutely I'm gonna nickel and dime people when you frame it that way.
But you won't.
I won't, I promise.
I love the look of this thing, but Nirav, I have a bit of a problem. If I could borrow you again for a second here. When I invested in you guys and all the inconvenience of the disclosures and everything, I don't cover laptops that much and I wasn't that worried about it. You guys make a f***ing desktop now.
Yeah.
Do you not see the inconvenience for me of you guys having what is an incredible product, but one that conflicts with literally everything I cover?
Yeah, it just means there's gonna be 10 seconds of every video you ever do again talking about us. That sounds really great.
Oh my God. Next up is something that I've been pleading for since the beginning from Framework, a touchscreen option. I just wasn't expecting there to be a whole new device attached to it. Meet the Framework 12, a convertible 12.2-inch laptop with repairability, of course, and maybe more importantly for you folks who haven't been able to pull the trigger on a 13 or a 16, price at the very center of its design philosophy. Possibly my favorite feature here has got to be the colors. They have 5 in total that all look fantastic, and although the materials are plastic, they have done it in an unapologetically durable way with TPU bumpers to absorb shocks and a metal internal structure to make sure that it isn't too floppy. Up top, we get a 1200p touchscreen with 400 nits peak brightness that is a lot better than what I would normally expect from like an affordable screen, even though the bezels are a little on the bigger side. Yeah, okay, I'm getting the nod. And it gets even better. If touching isn't your thing, the 12 is also available with a color-matched stylus and comes with a color-matched screwdriver. Speaking of, now's as good a time as any to take it apart, isn't it? I'm gonna use my screwdriver though, if it's all the same to you.
It's okay.
I'll show yours. Wait, do you guys even have the color-matched one?
We have them in Taiwan.
Oh, I'll get mine.
Do you want to power it off first?
Fine. Oh, is that the only sample that exists in this color?
That's the only ID complete one.
Oh, okay, that explains why you want me to not break it. I mean, you could just put another motherboard in it, it's super repairable. All captive screws, love to see it. And you guys have the new locking position locks. Oh my God, this one really doesn't want to come out, does it?
You can lock them in. Oh no, it's not locked in.
Oh. Wait, how'd you remove that so easily?
Inside once we get in there.
Shut up. Child safety lock? Oh, red is for unlock. Okay, who else on the entire earth uses red for unlocked?
Cars.
Oh shit, they do. Oh, they've got little finger tabbies. And this is a big improvement. Gone is the ribbon cable that connects the keyboard to the motherboard. Here is a pogo pin interface. They're more expensive, but boy, are they ever more user-friendly. What else we got in here? The modular I/O that we've come to know and love, but this time with a little party trick. The expansion cards can be locked in place so that if these laptops get deployed in a school, for instance, the teachers don't have to worry about little Timmy hucking USB-C ports at little Sally across the room. Here's a nice little touch. This little magnet right here that holds the keyboard down so the pogo pins stay nicely attached, it doubles as a holder for your RAM shield when you're working on it. How cool is that? Now, you might have noticed that there's just one RAM shield over a single RAM slot, meaning that this laptop does run in single channel mode, which is kind of a shame, but not a shame is the little toolless SSD holder right here, making upgrades just that little bit easier. Now for the processor in this thing, we don't get anything wild. It's either an Intel Core i3-1215U or a 1334U, which are neither the fastest nor the most efficient processors. But what they are is decent enough and affordable, not to mention way better than the Celerons that you find in real low-end Windows machines. Down at the bottom, we get a 50 watt-hour battery, which hopefully will last a good long while, though we won't have actual numbers until we get a production sample later this year, and we also don't have exact pricing yet, but it will definitely start for under $1,000. Finally, while Framework has only been around for 5 years, they have been very busy, and we are now on the 7th iteration of their original Framework 13 that, oh no, has finally caved to peer pressure and given the people what they've so desperately wanted. A touchscreen. No, not yet. A Copilot button. Framework was so excited to show us their new keyboards with the Copilot button that they forgot to bring a sample of it. So here's some B-roll. Thankfully, the Copilot key is just one of the options, and they now also offer a keyboard with no Windows logos at all for the Linux users out there, and more importantly, they've redone the structure of the keys, moving from metal to plastic for the larger keys. This was done not to cheap out, but because at certain frequencies, the metal would start buzzing and vibrating, and the plastic helps make the speakers sound a bit better. Go figure. The biggest change, of course, though, is the performance. For the first time, we're getting a Ryzen 9 CPU, specifically the Ryzen 9 AI HX 370 with 12 cores and up to 5.1 gigahertz boost clock. To keep this monster cool, they've moved from 2 small heat pipes to a single large one, also aided by a swap to phase change thermal interface material. Oh, the bezels also get a small update, is that right? To make sure that everything, oh, cute. To make sure that everything is adequately fancy. This is actually Nirav's personal laptop, so we could find out all kinds of things about Framework's future plans if I was able to incapacitate him and steal his fingerprint, which I can't. One more bonus thing is, yes, this Framework 16 looks normal enough until you notice anything weird about the keyboard. This proof of concept here is an ortholinear keyboard layout that was designed to show off their new custom laptop key switches. These would allow their users to create any layout that they'd like, allowing them to make whatever good or bad decisions that they can imagine. Why are you guys so cool? I have some questions, if you will. Is this fully compatible with my original framework chassis? Like with the new thermal requirements?
It is, yeah. You can actually drop it in all the way back to the original Framework Laptop 13.
Wow. I don't have mine anymore. I sold it in an auction. Well, it's kind of a thing I do from time to time. I want to talk to you for the first time about our secret shopper video, which he never emailed me about and we haven't spoken about.
I'm not sure what this is.
Wait, you didn't notice? Are you kidding right now?
I do remember. I do remember, actually.
Did you forget?
Now I remember. I tend to blank out the negative parts of my life.
So you consider it a negative?
No, it was good. Actually, I will say we instituted a deeper secret shopper policy within our leadership team following on that video.
Really? Okay, because honestly, I thought you guys came away looking pretty okay, not perfect. So what do you guys do now?
And honestly, I thought that was a really fair video that you did. You called out stuff that was legitimately things that we can improve on. So we've been digging into that as a leadership team. We've built our own secret shopper process that we run regularly now, and just across the board through our basically post-purchase experience, we're trying to revamp things. That's
very cool, but you didn't want to send me an email about it or anything?
I thought in the interest of neutrality, it would be better if I didn't.
This is actually hilarious. This is legitimately the first time that we have exchanged any words written or verbal about that project.
That's true.
And this is the first time that he's ever seen me do this segue to our sponsor, Vessi. The problem with wearing socks and sandals is, first, people might make fun of you, and second, you often end up with wet socks. Well, Vessi solves these issues with their functional and stylish shoes that keep your socks dry while being breathable, lightweight, and stretchy. They offer all kinds of shoes for different occasions, like the weekend Chelsea. With these, wet weather's not so bad. You can even kick up snow or splash through puddles, all worry-free. Plus, their high-top design offers extra protection. Even in the coldest conditions, Vessi helps keep your feet warm with their temperature-regulating, breathable knit design. And they've become Dennis's go-to travel shoes, because they've actually saved his socks several times during sudden afternoon rainstorms in Thailand. They're soft, comfortable, and perfect for long walks. So make every moment this February unforgettable with Vessi. Check them out at vessi.com/LTT, and you can get an automatic 15% off your first order at checkout. We'll have them linked down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, why don't you check out our review of the Framework 16? It is the world's first modular gaming laptop, well, in the modern era anyway, where everything's soldered